I haven't rehearsed this, but I'm going to try to make it available to you as an explanation of what we're going to do. So last year, on the on a whiteboard, I basically drew this kitchen from on grid paper, which I approximated by hand in this episode of class, from a measured drawing, and that measured drawing is this. What is the measure? The measure is the dimensions. We learned how to read in architectural language this drawing. That is, the extent of the countertop, the dashed lines representing the overhead line that stand for the wall cabinets. The tile on the floor is a 12 by 12 module, so we have this convenient metric that measures basically feet, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There appears to be half a foot there, and then 2 more here. So you get the idea. We got plenty of visual metric measured evidence of what we're going to draw. So let's start with the counter. Again, I haven't rehearsed this, so we know this is a refrigerator, so we're going to deal with that separately. From here to there, looks like 7-11, 8 feet. Right? So we have a counter, 8 feet by 2 feet. If I were to draw boy, these tools are different every time you use them. I just want to make a notation on this, but I can't. Okay, I'm going to use this drawing tool, this line tool. So I'm going 2 feet in that direction, 8 feet in this direction. I'm going to stop 2 feet short, right? So I've drawn 6 feet. And 1 foot that represents, sort of that. So I'm drawing this shape, and then I'm going to draw that, which is 1 foot. And I'm going to draw the stove, which apparently is 30 inches. I'm not going to measure it. So basically I'm outlining, and we have about 3/6 in that direction. Looks like maybe 6 or 8 feet in this direction. So those are the surfaces we're going to start with. Right? Let's put this drawing aside and see if we can make the leap. Again, the representation of that here is that countertop with whose back corner we can see. So I'm going to have to draw that in this isometric mode. I'm going to take the background and just change the opacity a bit. So it just kind of fades back there a little bit. I'm going to lock it in place and draw on the drawing layer. You're not going to be drawing this in Photoshop. You're going to take this grid paper, print it out, and draw it directly on the grid paper, and then scan your line drawing. So let me start, and I'm just using the paintbrush tool. So I don't want blue. Let's change the foreground color to black. So I'm going to start over to the right somewhere and draw 2 feet in that direction. 6 feet in this direction. 1, 2, 3, 4. 6 feet that way, and 1 foot this way. Then 2 feet back. 1, another 1, 2. And then I'm going to connect up there. This is going to be the space for my range. So it's 2.5 feet. That represents the top of my range. And then I have another 1 foot counter, which represents a base cabinet of 1 foot. We know from studying the section drawing of this we've drawn 100 times that the distance from here to here is 3 feet. The distance from here to here is 1.5 feet, and the rest of this from here to there is 2.5 feet. Right? Just kind of remember that. To the top of this counter is over 3 feet. It's 3.5 feet. Because we're using this grid paper, I'm going to use increments, vertical increments, to stand for feet. Now, the isometric, so I'm giving equal weight to that metric, but it's a little bit flattened here. But I can still draw 3 feet. 1, 2, 3. And I'm measuring, let's do it from this, it's a little more, 1, 2, 3. I'm measuring to tick marks to the intersections, 1, 2, of the intersection of those grid lines, right? 1, 2, 3. You can draw this with a straight edge if you wanted to. It's not going to come out very well because I'm drawing with a computer. So 1, 2, 3. That's going to be my range. Here's my 1 foot cabinet flanking the range. It's the bottom. All right. I got 1 foot before the sink base starts, and then 1, 2, 3, maybe a little less than that for the sink base. Again, I'm not going to measure this. So there's my 1 foot, and then 1, 2, 3. I'm going to develop the sink base in there. And that's going to be my dishwasher over here. The sink has an opening, which I've exaggerated a bit here. Now I'm using the grid paper as sort of guides. I haven't had much luck drawing with this pen, but I'm going to give it a little bit of a try. Yeah, see, it keeps pulling up this stupid... And heck with it. Before the base cabinet, before the wall cabinet start, I got 1.5 feet, right? But the wall cabinet only goes out 1 foot, so I have to go in this direction 1 foot. Notice I'm halfway between two grid lines. And then 2.5 this way. 1/2, 1, 2. So that's going to be the height of the back edge of a wall cabinet that's along that wall. What's it going to be in this direction? Well, it's going to correspond with the dishwasher there, so I have to go 2 feet that way. 1, 2. Same here. I apologize for if I were doing this by hand, this would be much easier, but I don't have a camera. I didn't have time to procure one. Let's look at our 3D drawing again. I'm only 10 minutes into this, that's not bad. What did I do over here? Oh, I also started drawing the island. And I did accommodate the edge of the counter. So the edge of the counter would have the thickness counter. You could use a straight edge when you're drawing on paper. Do the same on this side. 1, 1.5 cabinet, 2.5. Oh, this bloody thing. I don't know how to keep that from happening. That way, that way. So we have a cabinet that's only, when you're designing a kitchen, you usually have equivalent cabinets above as you do below. Over the range, there's a slightly shorter, corresponds with the 30 inches of the range, because it's got to accommodate some kind of ventilation device. So that's what I'm drawing over there. This is going to have ellipses that represent the burners. You can do a better job at drawing. It'll have an oven over here. So you could get into a lot more detail, but I really don't care what you... I want the result to be a clean line drawing that you can later go in and fill, modify. If I wanted to start to represent the island has 3.5 feet between where it begins. 1, 2, 3.5. I think it begins out here. Let's look at that. Oops. From the edge of the dishwasher, it's 1, 2, 3 feet. Okay? So 1, 2, 3. It's got to start here. And I think we said it was 4 feet in 3.5 feet in this direction. 1, 2, 3. That's the base, right? And the height is 3.5. So half, 1, 2, 3. I don't remember whether the edge intersects or you could see beyond it. It's really close. So when you get to the top, when you get to the countertop, if you draw the countertop, it occludes a view of the base cabinets against the walls. So, but for now, I'm going to pretend, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. It goes beyond. So it kind of cuts off the bottom of what's happening here. And then it hangs a little bit beyond in the base cabinet. But you see how I'm using the orthographic lines to identify and measure where I'm drawing. Then I've got, I have some stools, but I'm not drawing those, but theoretically I could, you know, draw ellipses that represent those as well. Again, making them about 2.5 feet high. To the right of the cabinet, over the stove, I got another foot. And that corresponds with this one, right? And then we have a corner cabinet. So the line, and it's a little taller, so the line that represents that is straight across. Because it you know, it's kind of facing me. And then the corner extends to there. That travels in that direction. There's a crooked line. Let's see if I can undo that. And then there's a 1 foot wall segment. It's drawn there. The kitchen window appears to be aligned with the top of these cabinets. And it's a view of one side of it is slightly occluded by that cabinet. We could draw the frame. If you got this far, you're in pretty good shape. I mean, you know, this is all you need to illustrate. So we have a drawing here. I haven't drawn the stove hood that would be in there. Presumably there might be something that extends like that, right, over the stove. Again, when you're working with pencil or pen, you have a little bit more control over what you're doing here. So I want you to create a drawing like this. And I've spent this 20 minutes illustrating how you could get going with it. It's finally going to look something like that. Oh, it's finally going to look something like that, and you're going to use this, and you're going to use this kitchen drawing as your basis for measuring what you're laying out there. Good luck.